We're going to consider now another game of minor conflict, familiar game that I described earlier. Here's a description of it, and we're going to summarize most of it in the strategic form. So there are two players, the Blu-ray Disc Association, so association for short, and Toshiba. These are the two players. They, at the same time, choose whether to adopt the Blu-ray format or the HD format. So Blu-ray or HD for the association, Blu-ray or HD for Toshiba. Now, if they adopt the same format, they each gain $100 million. So if we put these payoffs in millions of dollars, then it would be 100, 100, 100, 100. Then there's an extra piece here. If they both adopt Blu-ray, then the association gains an extra 10. So that makes it as 110. And if they both adopt HD, then Toshiba gains an extra 10. Now, we've seen this problem before. I'm going to add an extra piece here. Suppose before the game is played, the Blu-ray association is given the opportunity to communicate what they're going to choose. They're just telling the other party what they're going to choose. That's not a commitment. They don't actually choose it. They're just saying what they're going to do. So they're going to say, I'm going to pick Blu-ray, or I will choose HD. Now, this is called cheap talk. There is no action that is guaranteed. It's just talk. So is there a cheap talk equilibrium with truthful communication? So is it possible that the association is telling the truth? And if so, find it. So I'm going to more precisely define these two terms as we solve this problem. So first, fill out this strategic form, which you're very experienced with by now. Here's the new part. To answer the question if there's a cheap talk equilibrium, define a game tree with 3 stages. First, the association communicates what it will do. Second, Toshiba makes their choice assuming that they believe what the association has said. Stage 3, the association makes its actual choice after they deduced Toshiba's choice. Now that's the game tree. So here it is. The association makes the first choice. I will choose Blu-ray. I will choose HD. After that choice is made, Toshiba and the association simultaneously choose what they're actually going to do. But I'm going to display it in this tree as if Toshiba goes first and then the association goes second. In fact, they're not actually doing it that way, but for the purpose of understanding this tree, just imagine that for a moment. So Toshiba is going to pick Blu-ray or HD, and the association is going to pick Blu-ray or HD. Now, when I write down these payoffs in any tree, the first number I list will be the player that goes first. In this case, it's the association. So I list it first. Toshiba's number is listed second. In contrast to this, when you draw a strategic form table, the players' payoffs are listed first for the row player and second for the column player. So you can see here that the only thing that affects the payoffs are what the players actually do. So if Toshiba picks Blu-ray and the association picks Blu-ray, the association gets 110, Toshiba gets 100. If they don't pick the same thing, so Toshiba Blu-ray and the association HD, then they both get nothing. HD Blu-ray get nothing. HD, then Toshiba gets the 110 and the association gets the 100. So you can figure out these payoffs depending on what the players actually do. Turns out this cheap talk does not affect what these payoffs are. Now we have to start to solve this game. So the first, we're not going to solve it in the usual order, which is last to first. We're going to look first at stage 2. Now, to get to this stage 2, the association has already made their statement of what they're going to do. In this case, I will choose Blu-ray. I just put that in red. They haven't actually chosen it yet. They just say they're going to choose it. In this case, I will choose HD. I put that in red here. And now Toshiba has to make its choice, assuming that Toshiba believes the association. Toshiba will know what to do. If they pick Blu-ray and they assume that the association does what they say they're going to do in red here, Toshiba, who gets a second number, figures they'll get 100. If, on the other hand, they make this choice, they come down and figure they're going to get this 0. So they'd rather have that 100 than that 0. So they do not make this choice. I'm exaggerating that they don't make it. I'm making it all blackened out, and then I'm putting this big circle around it. Now, in this other branch, where the association said they would choose HD, they say they're going to make these choices. If Toshiba believes it, then Toshiba, if they choose this branch, figures they're going to get 0, and this branch, they follow it down, they figure they can get a 110. They'd rather have the 110 than the 0, so they do not make this choice. They will make this choice. So that is solving stage 2. Stage 3. Well, given the choices in stage 2, the association figures, well, I might end up here. You know, I could, this is a possible choice for Toshiba, depending on what I say. And I could end up having to make this choice. Should I go Blu-ray or this other choice? The choice on the left gives me 110. The one on the right gives me 0. I'd rather have the 110. I don't make this choice, so scratch it out. The association figures this is not a choice that they have to make. It's impossible. Toshiba would not make this choice. So that's irrelevant. This is irrelevant. But they think it is possible and certainly relevant for the association to get to this branch. Then they would be choosing between getting 0 and 100. They'd rather have the 100, so scratch out this 0. Now, go back to the beginning. The association has to figure out what should they say. They figure, if I say I'm going to choose Blu-ray, Toshiba then is going to make this choice, and then I should be making this choice, and I'll end up with 110. On the other hand, if I say I'm going to choose HD, Toshiba is going to make this choice. I should respond with this choice. I've already figured that out, and I'll get 100. So Toshiba's statement, they feel, or they've deduced, if they say they're going to choose Blu-ray, then they'll get 110. If, on the other hand, they say they're going to pick HD, they'll get 100. Now, are they telling the truth? Well, they're going to say Blu-ray, and they're actually going to choose Blu-ray. So yes, they did what they said they were going to do. End of question. Let's have a last comment about it. This cheap talk solution ended up picking out this Blu-ray choices for the two parties. And if you recall from our previous analysis, this was one of the two Nash equilibrium for the game between these two when you didn't have the statements. And that was better for both parties than a mixed strategy equilibrium. So you want, when your interests are aligned with another player, your allies, you can call that. And when you have an ally, you can believe what they say. It has nothing to do with the person's character. It has to do with whether their interests are aligned with yours. That's an important and general life lesson.